So greetings from a rather breezy day here in Pennsylvania. Today is June 9th, I believe, a Thursday morning. So yeah, time for another Union Canal video. And this one's going to be somewhat similar to the most recent one we did. You know, in the last Union Canal video in this series, we went back to the beginning and made some corrections. We're going to follow up on some of those corrections and deal with some unfinished business too, dealing with where we started. So here's that map I showed you in the previous video, because I pulled this book out of my storage area, the two canals of Lebanon County. Of course, we're not in Lebanon County yet, but it shows the whole length of the Union Canal going from the Susquehanna all the way over to the Schuylkill River. And we had talked about how I thought the Union Canal ended right here, where the Tolpahocken Creek flows into the Schuylkill. But then I learned that it actually went all the way, followed the Schuylkill River down quite a ways. And I was given some GPS coordinates by a viewer, and we went right there and we found Lock 54. And if you remember, we found more than just Lock 54 in that video. We found the lock house where the lock tender lived. That was pretty cool. Of course, it was in ruins, but that makes it even cooler in some ways. Of course, we had talked about how at some point they shortened the Union Canal in that section. Let me show you the map here again in a moment. But there was still a little bit of misinformation about that Lock 54. It was supposedly going to be one of the smaller ones prior to the 1850s, but it was the full-size one. But anyway, that was in the past video. Let me show you, we're actually going to go back to where the new Lock 54 should be located. Let me show you now. So back to our little map here. Of course, we found Lock 54 all the way down here, but then they shortened the canal to about up here somewhere. So this section was no longer in use. Sometime prior to 1862. Because when you look in the 1862 atlas, this section is no longer here. It ends about right here, and there's another Lock 54 there. And yes, as I mentioned in the most recent video, that is one of the reasons why doing this series gets a little bit complicated sometimes, because there's actually, if you do research on Lock 54, there's actually two of them. So it can be a little bit difficult. Why they shortened it right to that spot? Well, on the other side of the Schuylkill River is where the Schuylkill Canal was. It was on the east side of the river, and the Union Canal was on the west side. And they both emptied into the Schuylkill River at that point, so it enabled, if you're traveling from the Union Canal, you could go straight over into the Schuylkill Canal. So that's why they shortened it to that spot right there. So when you look on the 1862 atlas, you see Lock 54, so it'll be down here, it's up here somewhere. And I don't think we're going to find anything at all there, but I'll talk about that a little bit later. But in this video, I also want to go back here to the mouth of the Tolpahocken River, see if we can find anything of Lock 53. I don't have high hopes for that, but we'll see what we can do. And when we started this series, we started at the mouth of the Tolpahocken Creek where it flows into the Schuylkill River. I remember standing on the west side of the Tolpahocken, looking to the east side, pointing out that that's where Lock 53 was, but we couldn't get to it that day. But I'm going to take my waders along this day. Hopefully the water levels are low enough that we can cross somewhere. I don't know that we'll be able to, I doubt we'll find anything, because that whole area is super developed now. There's a highway along the whole section there. When we go to where Lock 54 was, there's a whole huge, like one of those four-leaf clover interchanges there. Once we get there, I'll throw up a satellite image of what it looks like today. There's a place there I can park. When I was looking on Google Maps, it looked like there was a path that I could take to cross the highway and get there, but when I looked at the street view on Google Maps, it looked like it was gated off. But anyway, we're gonna at least go to that location, see what we can do. All right, and then there's one other correction I'm going to make. We'll talk about that later. I'm already yapping too much at the beginning. Deals with Lock 52, but anyway, let's quit yapping. Let's get on the road and get to the first location. But a quick gap, just a little bit more. Just remember, like I said in the previous video, you know, I'm not perfect. I'm kind of learning as I go with these series. So as I learn new things or I'm corrected by other people, we'll go back and make these corrections as we go along. I'm still going to keep following the Union Canal. Hopefully next week we'll get to another section of it. Of course, this weekend I'll be in upstate Pennsylvania, but we will keep going, but like I said, every now and then we'll come back and make corrections as we need to. All right, so we are in West Reading right now, and up there is Route 422. And this is the way I was thinking about going, back towards where Lock 54 might be, but it is gated off, although looks like it's been busted out, the gate. So I'm debating whether I really want to go back there or not, but actually I see I see a homeless guy back there. And to be honest, that's what I was kind of concerned about when I was considering coming to this area. Not that homeless people are all super dangerous, but it is kind of a sketchy area. So I think we'll let that go. I'm gonna throw up 2 maps for you, Google Maps. One's gonna be a larger map showing where the entrance to the Tolpahakan River is, where Lock 53 might be, where this location is, and then where Lock 54 we found last time was. And then the second map I'm going to throw up is going to be a map, an enlarged map of just this area where this Lock 54 could possibly still be at. I got a train back there too. I'll try to show this satellite image. Right up here is that big 4-leaf clover interchange, so this whole area is all super built up. So we're gonna have to let this go. Maybe if I was with someone else I would go back that way, but I figured it would be probably pretty sketchy here. So anyway, let's move on to the next location. And here we are, back where we started this whole series. Here's the Schuylkill River. Here's the Tolpahakan Creek flowing in. Looks pretty deep out there, actually. I do have my waders on. Actually, yeah. No boating, no swimming, no wading. Strong currents and turbulent water above and below this dam can trap and drown a person. Penalty. Yeah, there's a dam just up the way up there, so yeah. Yeah, so somewhere over there, if anything is left of Lock 53, it'd be over there, but just up the way there is the embankment for the modern highway too. But I'll go ahead and toss a map up of where I am. It's the same map I used last time we were here. Yeah, so I think, you know, I mean, yeah. I was hoping it's in our location that we're probably not going to get to then. But hey, I'm just going to stay out of trouble. Keep myself from drowning and obey the rules too, I guess. So we'll have to let that one go. Permanently this time, I probably won't come checking. Unless I have to be kayaking down here for some reason someday, but alright, that's the way it is, folks. When you're exploring like this sometimes, you never know what you're going to encounter. So we'll just have to let that go. But as I've said in the past with these videos, you never know, unless you just get out here and try sometimes, you never know what the conditions are going to be like, or what the rules are going to be like. So, but this, we're going to close the chapter on these 2 spots for now. Just the way it is sometimes. Alright, but I did have one other thing I was going to correct from the previous video, and that deals with Lock 52. I know a viewer sent me some information about Lock 52, which I double checked on. Turns out they're correct, but at the same time, I have a map that says otherwise, but I did check some of the historical atlases, and it gets kind of confusing as to where Lock 52 actually is. But I think we'll try to talk about that in this video as well. So I think the first time I was here, I pointed out Lock 52 just being just up the creek here a little ways past the one railroad bridge. Alright, so we are now upstream from where we were. We were down at, Stone Cliff Park. Now we're upstream a ways. This is Burke's Leisure Park, it's called. Just not too far from Grings Mill. This place should be familiar. This is where that mule bridge was way back when we first started filming this series. So I'm going to go ahead and toss a map up of the whole area, showing where the Tolpahakan Creek flows into Schuylkill. Maybe I'll kind of outline the canal a little bit, show you where Lock 53 was, point out where this mule bridge is, and Lock 51 is just on the other side of the creek here. Because this mule bridge symbolizes where the canal crossed the Tolpahakan Creek here. And then, yeah, I'm going to throw that up first. No, I'll show you. Yeah, I'll just throw that map up first, I think. So now that you hopefully have some perspective of where we are again, I'm going to throw the same map up, but with the 2 possible locations of Lock 52. I'm going to have the location where I said it was originally, just on the other side of the railroad tracks, and then where supposedly it is here at this park. Here's a view of where we are. Just up there through the brush is the mule bridge. Maybe we'll walk across it today again. But here's one possible location for Lock 52. Down there's the Tolpahakan Creek. You can kind of see it through all the brush here. But this is where the canal would be on this side, going all the way down that way towards the railroad bridge and towards where Lock 53 was, you know, at the mouth of the Tolpahakan there. But here's where the canal crossed to the other side of the Topahawk, and thus you have the Mule Bridge. So why did I say Lock 52 back when I made that first video? Why did I say it was down all the way down that way, just past the railroad bridge? Well, it's because of this map right here, put out by the Berks County Parks and Recreation Department. You can get the same map right up there at that little kiosk. So let's look at this map, because I've shown you the maps. I've thrown those maps up already of the Google Maps. But here we are. We're at Berks County Leisure Park. Shadows getting. Right, reorient ourselves here. So we're here. There's the Mule Bridge. On the other side of the stream is Lock 51. It does have a lock here, but it says GL. What does that mean? That means guard lock. We never talked about what a guard lock is. I'll do that in this video. Then here you go. There's Route 12. There's the railroad bridge. And look, Lock 52. That's where they say Lock 52 was. So when I was filming that first, those first sections of the Union Canal videos, that's why I said Lock 52 was up there. Of course, down this way then would be Lock 53, where the Schuylkill River flows and the Topahawken flows right into it, where we were earlier today. So that's why I said Lock 52 was there. But a viewer pointed out that he thought Lock 52 was actually here, where it says GL. I looked up an 1862 atlas of the area, and it indeed says that Lock 52 was here as well. So is it here? Or was it here, according to this map? And so once again, that's why it gets confusing when you're doing research for older historical items like this. Sometimes the information doesn't match up from one site to another site, or one map to another site. So who's right? Well, I kind of lean to this site being the location of Lock 52. I know originally when I got a message from that viewer, I was kind of doubtful, because I have this, I have this map from the Park Service that says Lock 52 is where I said it was. But then I thought, you know what? No, be humble about it, Cliff, and go online. So I checked the older atlases, and they say Lock 52 was here. So I'm gonna go with the older atlases. So what's the deal with the confusion? I'm not sure. And to be honest, maybe the truth is both in some cases, because this canal evolved over time. It started 1828 is when they finished it, but in the 1850s they did a revision to it, like a remodeling. We talked about that in the last video. They widened the locks from 8 feet to like 17 or so feet, and sometimes they did change other things. Like I mentioned at the beginning of this video, they shortened the length of it along the Schuylkill River. There was the original Lock 54, and then they shortened it, and then there's another Lock 54. So I kind of wonder if at some point there was in their revision of it, or as it evolved and it changed, maybe Lock 52 was down that way more, and then when they revised things, maybe they moved it down here. That's possible. I don't know. It's just a thought, but it is a possibility. Sometimes the truth is somewhere in between both sides. So maybe both sites were once where Lock 52 was located. But I'm going to lean towards, when you're looking at sources, I'm going to lean towards the older source. This map is a newer source. The 1862 atlas is a much older source, closer to the, well, it was made when the canal was still active. So I'm going to go with this area as being where Lock 52 was. But as I mentioned and showed you on the map, there was what's called a guard lock here too, which kind of adds to confusion maybe. And what's a guard lock? We'll talk about that in a moment. But I think we're going to let's go for a walk. Let's go check out that Mule Bridge one more time. So yeah, probably, because there was a dam here too at one point. Right here's the Topahawken Creek. Created area of slack water so the canal boats could go across to the other side. So maybe this part is probably flooded here. So somewhere here was the guard lock, and most likely Lock 52. Like I said, who knows? Maybe there was a Lock 52 down that way by the current railroad tracks too. Who knows? It's kind of hard to tell. All right, let's go quick for a little walk here. Cross that Mule Bridge again. Yeah, right up here's that little information thing where you can pick up that same map that I have on the Union Canal. Right there, there's 2 sections of them. All right. Yeah, so once again, this is the mule bridge. Well, not the original mule bridge, but kind of a replacement one. And then just over here was Lock 51. As I mentioned, out there somewhere was a dam that came across the stream here, creating an area of slack water, or higher water, so the canal boats could cross from this side as the canal continued down that side. And then down in here was Lock 51. Because we filmed that one already. Back in the winter time it was. The trail goes right through it right there now. So what exactly is a guard lock? Like I said, we haven't talked about those before. All the locks that we've been talking about, the ones of numbers, are lift locks. They're the ones that have a door on either end. They're there to raise the elevation of the lock. The boats would go in, the door would close behind, they'd raise the water level, open the other door, and the boat could continue on, the canal boat. These guard locks were different. They were at places like this where the canal connected directly to a river or stream source. And they were there for guarding against, they would control or regulate the flow of water into the canal. Because the canals, the water for the canals came from these rivers and streams. But you didn't necessarily want the whole stream or river flowing into the canal, so the doors on those locks would control or regulate the amount of water going into the canal, especially like during flood times and stuff. It's just like a control lock, sometimes they're called too, just regulate the flow of water into the canal. That's what a guard lock is. And we'll just head back across. It is a cool bridge. I see lots of people taking photos here for like high school pictures and things like that. Senior pictures, I should say. But there we go. We tried to answer some questions today and make some corrections, but a little bit difficulties. I know the first two sections we didn't really get to, just playing it safe. I love filming, but I can put myself in any kind of dangerous situation either. Like I said at the beginning of the video, not that all homeless people are dangerous. I know some people get on me about that. Oh, you're scared of homeless people. No, but some homeless people are wonderful people. Others, well, are not so much. And Reading, if you're from the area, Reading's a sketchy area. So I just didn't really feel comfortable heading in that direction, especially considering it was a gate there. So I don't really want you going back there. And of course the other location, the creek levels were pretty high, and there's a sign right there. I had my waders on. There's a sign right there saying no wading. So, well, it is what it is. Like I said, we're going to close the chapter on those two sites. And Lock 52 is kind of up in the air, I guess. Kind of try to answer that as much as I could. But as I said, that's the way it is when you do research on historical stuff. Even when you watch TV shows where they do stuff like this, they don't have all the answers prior to doing the research or making the shows. That's kind of one reason why they're doing them. Same with this. I don't have all the answers for the Union Canal, but part of finding those answers is just coming out here and looking. That's what we're trying to do. All right, we're going to close the chapter on this section, like I said, unless I get more information, and then so the next time, hopefully next week, I'll get the next section going. Locks, starting with Lock 20 to I think Lock 17 maybe we'll work on. So as always, thanks for coming along, and hopefully I'll see you on when we do the next section.